EU Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier shocked the UK when he warned Britain a transition deal was not a given if disagreements continue, but Tory MP Jacob ReesMogg has hit back and dismissed Mr Barnier's threats, saying the UK will not accept being forced to abide by EU rules after Brexit. Mr ReesMogg said, "I think it's unreasonable if Mr Barnier to expect that we would just roll over and allow those laws to come in, which can have a very profound effect on our competitiveness." BBCBrexit News Jacob ReesMogg said the UK will not. A draft European Commission report revealed how the bloc plans to make Britain abide by ECJ law during the transition while excluding it from any decision-making. The 5-page document says the final withdrawal agreement should provide for a mechanism allowing the Union to suspend certain benefits deriving for the UK from participation in the internal market where it considers that referring the matter to would not bring in appropriate time the necessary remedies. Speaking to BBC News, Mr ReesMogg said it would be bizarre to in a position where we are outside of the European Union and have to accept laws that inside the European Union we could veto. Even the most hardened Eurosceptics don't want to say no to European regulation that is sensible out of cussedness. There are many regulations that come from a higher level, come from international agreements that will be applied in the EU, in America, in Japan. It would be eccentric for the UK to say, well, as Europe's got it, we're not having it. What matters is that we decide. If we think the resolution isn't suitable, we can say no. I think it's unreasonable of Mr Barnier to expect that we would just roll over. Jacob ReesMogg, the staunch Brexiteer, previously suggested the UK would become an EU vassal state if Brussels continued to impose ECJ jurisdiction and demand budget contributions during the transitional period. Earlier this year, Mr ReesMogg challenged Brexit Secretary David Davis during his testimony in front of the Brexit Select Committee, asking how Britain will leave the European Union if not as a vassal state. He said it's hard to think of any precedent in the world where an independent nation has taken the judgments of a fine court of its superior and immediate law without having any judge on that law. The Brexit Secretary confirmed the transition period is no longer an implementation of the consequences of leaving. Mr Davis has faced criticism after agreeing a 2-year transition period where Britain is effectively set to stay in the single market and customs union. During the transition,